What I'm about to tell you sounds crazy. But you have to listen to me. Your very lives depend on it. This is not the end. You see, this isn't the first time. Now, we've had this conversation. What day is it?
Judgment Day. You just came in with the fresh recruits.
This is not the end. The invasion will fail, along with every soldier you are sending. We lose everything.
Come find me when you wake up.
You do know what's happening to me.
What happened to you happened to me. You hijacked their power. I need your help.
With what exactly?
Winning the war. We can do this. Just come here every day and I'll train you.
This is not the end. No matter what I do, this is as far as you go.
Why does it matter what happens to me?
I'm not a soldier.
Of course you're not. You're a weapon.
Hashtag Live Die Repeat, which is a far better title than the original title.
And the book title is even better because that is All You Need Is Kill.
Also better than Edge of Tomorrow, which is like nothing. Anyway,
edging tomorrow.
Edging Tomorrow. that is a title by committee, if ever I have heard one. Edge of Tomorrow. Fine, put it on the poster.
You know what? I personally liked Live Die Repeat. No one else, everyone else thought it reminded them of like a washing machine cycle. So you know what? Put it on the title. We're just gonna
Rinse, lather, repeat. My favorite
Sounds
Ted
like-
Cruz movie.
Sounds like shampoo. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't have people thinking about shampoo when they're doing time loops.
It'll be luxurious.
rinse, lather, repeat. Okay, welcome to Movie Night Extravaganza. Tonight we are doing episode 47, talking about the Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt, time loop, alien adventure, extravaganza, whatever, not to reuse that phrase, I guess, but romp in the old Europe. I'm here with my co-host J. Andrew World. How's it going?
Hey, the last 17 times we did this podcast on this episode that I did tonight worked pretty well. Hopefully number 18 is going to work just as well.
This isn't the first time we've had this conversation. All right. Host of Protonic Reversal, which just, happened 15 minutes ago or something. And of course, Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends. Conan Neutron, come on down and claim your prize.
As the most stressed out streamer. Yes!
Yeah.
Go.
And they all
Go, Neutron, go. Yeah.
And we are once again joined by Erica Strout, a Georgia-based filmmaker, music video director, and musician. She's half of the musical duo Dream Tent, plays guitar and sings in Motherfucker, and the live band of Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends.
God, you make me sound so busy. Happy to be here for the 18th time. Great.
She's seen me like this. Before.
18th time in the same week, right?
Right.
Exactly. We've done this stream at least 18 times.
I've been thinking about that. There's like this reggaeton song that's like Tom Cruise. I really think that I'm Tom Cruise, and I've had that stuck in my head on repeat all fucking day, and I don't, But starting the conversation there, this is an interesting movie, I think, because Tom Cruise usually does I was watching Doug Liman, who directed it, talking about this, and Tom Cruise usually is like badass from the beginning, right? He's either a spy or like some kind of like secret agent going through different places, kind of running through the corridors of everything. And in this movie, he's kind of a bumbling coward. So it's kind of funny to see him express his range like that.
Welcome to why.
Bumbling?
Well, he's definitely a coward, and
He's definitely a coward. Yeah,
he's ill-suited.
I guess I see him as a little bit of a smooth talker too. Like it's kind of his job, right? Is to like convince people of things.
He's part of the lanyard class in Washington D.C.
Yeah,
He
certainly. Sorry, go ahead.
I know. I was actually talking about this with Lee Anders Lee on GTAA this week. So like it's all kind of blurred together, but like that's like if you don't know, it's like this kind of like overeducated, pseudo smart people that operate in DC that are media savvy but aren't really that smart or have any other useful skills,
but are convinced that they're brilliant. And that's one of the things that I love so much about this movie is the fact that it's Tom Cruise actually acting. Like he's playing against type, and the fact that he's been cast as like, oh, he's the guy that's going to save everybody. In this case, like, no, he's just like kind of a smooth talker. Like I'm going to use, Andy, you'll appreciate this, a Battlestar Galactica reference. He's kind of a Gaius Baltar sort of type. Like he sort of just gets by on his like charisma and like good enough looks, and just ends up in these situations where he's completely out of his element in any way, shape, or form, but will not in any way, shape, or form admit it. And that's why I like this movie, because you get to see him just fail in the most like obscene ways possible. Like just like you could not, unless you were like your pants fell down while taking a dump and a grenade landed in your lap that you tried to throw. Like there's no other way like in a lot of ways with these scenarios that you get to see this guy more embarrassed. But then by the same token, because this is the first of the Groundhog's Day style movies, you get to see the character grow and kind of realize like, okay, maybe I don't know everything. And that's where it starts, right? Is that I don't know everything. Hopefully most people watching this kind of already realize that, but like people like the Tom Cruise character in this don't, and they go through life with their white privilege and their just general
Class privilege.
Huh?
Class privilege.
Oh, I thought you said Dutch courage, which is a totally different thing.
Oh, is that what Malort is?
Yeah, I mean it could be, not for me.
I've not searched videos like that.
But like this guy, you get to see him grow as a human being, maybe for the first time his entire life. What's amazing about it is he's happening in a time loop. That's what's great. And what's also amazing about it is it's basically like one of the best action movies of the past 10 years too. And that's astounding to me that they could pull off both of those things. It's also astounding they managed to fuck it up so bad by calling it something so generic you can barely not remember the name. Like it's,
I didn't think that this is what this movie was when I saw because I've seen the posters everywhere.
Why would you?
Yeah.
Well,
but I think that. Oh no, go ahead, Erica.
Oh, I was just gonna say, "Live Die Repeat's" like the tagline, I guess, for the movie, because I've seen it all over the advertising, but they decided not to call it that.
And then on home video release, they unofficially renamed the movie to that,
which is so much better.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it's so much better.
Unofficial thing, because so like in big letters you'll see "Live Die Repeat," and then in tiny letters "Edging Tomorrow."
And Andy, what was the manga?
Actually, it was a novel, not a manga. It was then adopted into a manga.
Okay.
But it's called All You Need Is Kill. I looked it up, so.
Well, I looked it up.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to read the novel at some point.
The Tom Cruise character, I think, follows into this this kind of long tradition of like the armchair general, right? Like, obviously, he's not a general, but he's the guy that's gone on TV and been in a comfortable studio and had this high rank as an officer, never had to see combat, never had to see actual blood, but has sold the entire country on kind of going into this war with this, with this really, really cool looking Iron Man style suit. And, going into battle and being like, listen, this is going to be fucking awesome. This is going to be like, you're just going to kick ass. You're going to wear this cool suit. Like, you got this armor.
They'll greet us as liberators. It'll be great.
Yeah.
It's
we won this one battle that was like fucking awesome. And like, now we have the person that won the battle, the woman, who Emily Blunt's character, but like, you don't know that at the time that, that she's going to play a big role in the movie, going by as like an Avenger almost, like they've sold her as some kind of huge PR star. So, for him, the first thing, because obviously there's the American army, still the U.S. Army, and then there's also this international army that's been raised by pretty much every country. It seems like Russia and China are doing the dirty work, which is kind of funny that,
it's
that
just
happened
like World War II.
yeah, this was going to say. And there's a lot of fucking World War II references in this movie too.
Mm-hmm.
But
totally.
yeah, so he seems like he's gone on TV, he's gone on CNN, he's gone on MSNBC, he's gone on all these big networks because they still exist in this movie. It's supposed to be around now, and he's sold this technology to people that so they'll join like the international military in order to fight these aliens, and that's where the movie kind of starts.
And that technology, just as a fun side note, is what was in the book Starship Troopers, but not the movie.
Right.
So it's kind of a neat little this is the missing part from the book of Starship Troopers, besides the the purposeful sincere fascism, not the sarcastic fascism we got, but
the side knife towards things like the United Nations that were just completely unnecessary. It's like, yeah, it didn't really turn out that way, so you kind of look like an asshole, Heinlein, but anyway, whatever.
but yeah, this movie seems to kind of cast both the U.S. military, the people that sell us on wars, and this international military force as kind of incredibly bumbling, easy to kill, kind of like easy to destroy, and it seems to cast them as totally incompetent, which is interesting. But then my argument is that having both Emily Blunt's character, who is the Angel of Verdun, like, because the first battle is obviously the Battle of Verdun, and she has done the same time loop, we find out, as Tom Cruise, and her battle is kind of won in that way.
She's done it over and over again.
Yeah. But also Tom Cruise, as this kind of armchair TV major. So I think it's interesting to have that those characters turn into kind of basically soldiers of fortune. And it's interesting that is seems like, at least the Biden administration Afghanistan policy, it seems like the future of warfare in the Middle East as these conflicts kind of die down. The soldier of fortune, intelligence agencies and kind of paid mercenaries are going to be the future of on the ground combat, whereas these large boots on the ground conflicts will still probably happen, but won't be as high priority. As kind of the Biden administration pivots away from our policy in the Middle East to a much more intelligence-based approach to a Cold War with China.
Mm-hmm. Although, it seems like he wants a hot war with China, to be honest with you. But that's just,
He wants to sniff it out. He wants to sniff out conflict with the Chinese.
Daddy Biden, fought in Korea. I don't know.
I was gonna make a joke about it, like a Chinese food dish, but like that's fine. We can go that way. That's okay. Hot war with China. It's get the number 17. Anyway, but the thing that I was kind of going with that is that I like that it kind of starts off being like push button war, cable news, armchair general, but then it shows you almost Saving Private Ryan style, like how brutal it is in the front lines, especially with like the fact that what they're selling and how the story that they're trying to tell for like what this is versus what it actually is. There's this wild dichotomy where, look, it's not Come and See, which is the high watermark for like, hey, isn't war fucked up sort of movies, but like it's pretty brutal, and you get to see Tom Cruise experience that, which is delicious on a number of levels. But like also like, I feel like this movie to a certain degree is Tom Cruise doing penance as well, like doing penance for like all the nationalistic like rah rah, go America,
Top
let's go
Gun.
get them. Yeah, like all that stuff. But then also like the culmination of hilariously, like him leaning into the Tropic Thunder thing of kind of developing a sense of self and a sense of humor in some limited capacity about his place in the world and what he's done. The fact he's like, hey, this guy's not the hero. Like he gets to like where he needs to be, but like this guy, like let's charitably say is the sidekick for the movie. Like in the way that think of Big Trouble in Little China, right? Jack Burton isn't the hero. He thinks he's the hero. He talks like John Wayne like he's the hero, but it's not Jack Burton that's the hero. He's ostensibly the sidekick. In the same way, Emily Blunt is so clearly the hero in this movie. She's the one. It goes out of its way at the beginning to tell you what a badass Emily Blunt is. And it also happens to be true. And that's lovely. But the fact that Tom Cruise, as a semi good looking, like white guy of privilege, he's going to assume that he's the hero in every situation he's in. And he gets his dick kicked in the dirt over and over and over and over again. And it's glorious on multiple levels, but not the least of which, again, is because it causes character growth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you feel like his arc, his character development can also be paralleled with like an older Hollywood actor trying to like stay relevant, like in a very much changing Hollywood and culture? I didn't come up with that. I read it somewhere, but I just thought it was an interesting thought.
just take credit. Be a white man. Just take credit for it anyway.
It was completely my idea.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an interesting. That's definitely a really interesting take because, like, you can see every time he dies, it's kind of there's like a 1 in a million chance that like an older Hollywood actor, like a middle-aged Hollywood actor, I think is going to get like another one of those Tom Cruise roles. As
my buddy Josh from Shiner played it Every Time I Die, by the way. Anyway, go ahead.
but each time he dies, it's kind of like he's taking a role that's like subpar. That it seems like he's going to be kind of the action hero, and then all of a sudden gets killed off. And I think that as I could see that as like these action stars get older and older, and it's harder and harder to maintain that rock hard body, or or at least like some kind of like physical health to be in these action movies. Like the roles get smaller and smaller, and I could see that being a factor. I think it also goes a long way in showing like war almost is sold like video games, and it's not video games, but like as we get into these like drone conflicts and stuff, and as technology gets better, it seems like it's going to be video games. And the fact that like kind of immediately he doesn't know what he's doing at all with the suit, they don't train him, and he gets instantly killed in the most like bloody fucking way possible. Like he literally melts the first time at least, and then kind of just gets like he has the respawn button, like all of a sudden he can go back to the beginning again and go through these things, and it's kind of comical at that point. But like over and over again he kind of gruesomely dies. Like my favorite death I think is the one where he's running with everybody, and then he tries to go under the wheel of the tries to go under the wheel of the truck, and then all of a sudden you hear like that really like scream.
Oh my god, the look on Bill Paxton's face when he does that just fucking killed me.
One of my favorite scenes. Like
it was
so good and great use of like semi dark comic effect to like what is a real thing if you're like in a time loop. And basically it's not as if he's especially well suited to the situation at all.
No pun intended, of course.
Oh, of course. But it's like when they talk about and most of the talk about privilege is fucking ridiculous. But the idea of like the being born on third base thing is like, I think there's some merit to it, and there's some merit to the fact that like knowing the answers to the test before the test happens, you don't have to actually learn the information. You just know what the answers are. Like his character, by nature of what he's experiencing, gets to know what the answers are without even knowing why he's trying to cheat, which I think is astounding. Because as much as like, yes, all roads lead back to Groundhog's Day, which is brilliant for this kind of thing. But like, as much as Bill Murray's like a curmudgeon and like not, a bit of a misanthrope and so on and so on, he's not a cheat. He's just a bit of a dick. Whereas like Tom Cruise is both a dick and a cheat.
Well, I also think that, you know, I mean, this also is, as our military in general has gotten bigger and bigger, the roles and the role of PR has gotten bigger and bigger in advertising and marketing. You know, we kind of we fetishize, or at least the military fetishizes, this on the ground combat role that people seem to have within it, where it's like, you know, boots on the ground, you're going in, you're fighting the enemy, whoever the enemy happens to be at that moment, and like, you know, you're the one that kills them and you're the hero. And it's not a good place to be. Like, they don't put the people on the ground that are like, you know, higher up in rank. They put the people on the ground that are just like, you know, the impoverished kids that they've kind of seduced into joining by making it seem like video games, like in this movie, like that they've seduced into being one of like the grunts, you know what I mean? Like one of the infantrymen, like in this role where they can very easily be disposed of. There's no real, and so this movie kind of plays up on that.
Pay for your
really,
college.
Yeah.
After you're done.
Yeah.
You guys like Call of Duty, right? Like,
y'all like video games?
I'm also thinking of Buster Bluth from Arrested Development, where he's like flying the drone planes, and then he doesn't know that what he's doing is actually happening. He thinks he's just playing a video game. Like,
but that's like a tech job, and as these fields get bigger and bigger, like they do train people to use those weapons by, you know, kind of making it seem like it's a video game. And like, you know, there's been a lot of times people have interviewed drone operators who are like sitting, you know, comfortably in like Kentucky, and their drone is being used to like literally assassinate people in Afghanistan or Yemen, or like, you know, like Iraq, because we're still there. Like, just all of these places, like it's possible to have a drone that's flying, and you feel like almost like it's a video game because you're not seeing the person close up, which is kind of the theory behind that tech style of war. But like,
there's that separation.
But then also, like, we never talk about the role of like marketing and advertising in the military. And like, or I mean, we kind of talk about it, like we joke about it with you know, Reagan, to, you know, bring Reagan up for the first time in this,
for the first time ever on this show. Yes.
But like Reagan was a as someone who was like a you know, high profile Hollywood actor at the time, his whole military service, and as he got dementia, he started feeling like his military service actually happened, but it was that he was filming war propaganda movies. And he was like, you know, he was just one of the guys in the movies. They took him like I think 60 or 70 miles from Hollywood, and they had him like in an army barrack type thing at like a base, and they're like, all right, we're gonna film these fake war propaganda movies today. So that was like Reagan's entire military service. But like, we're kind of in
military service.
Yeah, but like we're in the age where we don't even have to really do like I mean, kind of every movie now is that kind of military propaganda, like, you know, because we're in endless war. So like,
and maybe if we're lucky, one of our viewers is actually a military recruiter, because they go all over Twitch. Hi. Hello in the comments.
Oh, these people are not going to want to join the military. We got to look elsewhere. But no, like,
shut this shit down.
It's kind of, it's really fucked up to make this joke, but like, I imagine like if half of Left Flank Vet's audience are military recruiters that are like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was.
I was trying to turn left.
Left, right, left.
Well,
yeah. No, go ahead.
So do you? Yeah. So okay. So there's a lot to unpack there, right? And like, I think that's valid in the same way of this movie doesn't glorify conflict either. But what it does is like it shows the real stakes of it in a way that none of the director's other movies do, like, which are all more like, hey, aren't spies cool? Answer yes.
When I
go ahead,
in real life. Answer in real life, not really. But not really. Answer in movies, yes.
Answer in movies, yes. In real life, not so much.
And that has to do a lot with you know, Ian Fleming writing the James Bond novels. You know, after probably doing a lot more of a boring bureaucratic job as a as a spy in real life.
I feel like even though like this is kind of a bloody movie and there is good action in it, there's a good bit of action in it, like I feel like the battle is like kind of the background of the story anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the warfare of it.
which is such a great flex for me, because for me, I think it's one of the better action movies of the last 10 years. But the action is not. That's not the conceit. Like the action, but
and there's stakes to the action too.
Yes. Thank you.
You know what I just watched the Hawkeye finale, and there were no stakes in that Hawkeye finale. You know, even though it was well choreographed, I'm going to give it that. You know, I love good fight choreography, but good fight choreography doesn't make it. You know, doesn't give you stakes.
If I may, Erica, how do you feel about not just Tom Cruise in this movie, but like the Tom Cruise style of dude?
I really think that I'm Tom Cruise.
The Tom Cruise style of dude in life, like in like the film world and like the music world, like the dude that's like, he's good enough, I guess. Like, I don't know. For me, like, I felt not personally attacked, but I'm like, I fucking know that guy, and I'm already pissed at this character. The second I first watched it, I'm like, this guy fucking sucks. Everything about this guy sucks. I'm not sure if I even like what I'm watching. And then to watch him just, again, I'm going to use the phrase once again, get his dick kicked in the dirt over and over and over again was glorious. I'm like, fantastic.
Over 300 times.
Yeah, just rub your face in it, Tom Cruise. Like, you know, like I was like, hell yeah. Time.
I can feel my.
No, we're directing this to Erica. Andy, take a seat.
Oh, yeah, he's a douche at the beginning of the movie. You know, like it just like he was from what I remember. It's been since the '90s since I saw Jerry Maguire, but I feel like what I remember of his character was that he was a douche at the beginning, and then he kind of like started to figure it out at least. I don't remember if he figured it out as much as he figures it out in this movie, but yeah, I mean, what do I think of douchebags? Like, I'm not a fan. And it was really fun to watch him get killed a whole bunch. And from what I saw in interviews with him, like he had fun getting killed a whole bunch too. Like Emily Blunt saying that she had to like think of new ways to shoot someone in the head because she had to kill him so many times for this film.
And I guess it was a poorly articulated question and a more extended rant for me, but like,
I'm sorry.
I mean, for me, there was a certain amount of catharsis that I found with this movie. I'm like, hell yeah, Tom Cruise got. Hell yeah. And I didn't expect to need that. But I was like, it made me actually more amenable to like the arc of the character to see this growth, to be like, yeah, there's this guy that's like not just an icon of like the religion we shall not name, not just an icon of like action
Mormonism.
Movies,
Oh, you're talking about Tom Cruise himself as the actor,
but then also the character as well.
Okay.
And to see the character was clearly the same kind of douche. Actually, you know what? A douche serves a function, so maybe not the same kind of douche. Like, this is a guy that the only function he serves is the worst style of bottom feeding bullshit. And to see him just over and over again get face rubbed in it. Like, culturally, I think we needed that. And I wish more people had seen this movie because of that. So
you know what it kind of calls back to? I think Tom Cruise's character, the first episode that you were on the show, obviously was Sorry to Bother You. And when Cassius Green is upstairs, you know, finally makes it upstairs, and he's like, you know, before a plane comes in and drops a bunch of like bombs on a village in Afghanistan, like, who do you think drops the bomb ass sales pitch? That's one of the lines. And it's Tom Cruise in this movie that's dropping the bomb ass sales pitch.
He 100% is. This could be the same expanded universe.
Yeah. Well, let's remember that like war propaganda is not new.
No.
Like it's changed a lot. It's very different than it used to look, but it's certainly not a new thing that governments and militaries have had to do.
It's
or
prettier,
felt like they had to do.
It's more clever. But like, yeah, it's the same SSDD.
Yeah. Does anybody think that the mimics in Edge of Tomorrow look like squid tumbleweeds?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was thinking that they looked like, that this movie was
like,
a rival for dumb people.
Oh, a rival for dumb people?
For dumb people, yes. You got the time travel.
I like
you
both,
got
though.
the squids. You know, especially
yeah.
the same movie.
Come on, that's
I
not
think-
fair.
I think that's a little harsh, but I
like
do
both
see the
movies.
parallels. I'll say that. I do see the parallels.
I like both movies, and I do both smart and stupid shit all the time. So there you go.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
I
good.
mean,
This is
I
I
can't
have
wait
a
for
couple of I have a couple of related clips to this because I have one where they talk about like the actual process of designing them, which I'll play after this. But
Sweet.
this is Doug Liman talking about where he got the idea to make the aliens look like this. And I also want to talk about Doug Liman's career because I think it's interesting in the context of this movie after this. But
Hell yeah,
All right.
let's go, baby. Limon.
I'm not a science fiction guy, not a fantasy guy. You know, I like making movies about people. So, you know, this Edge of Tomorrow obviously has a massive scale to it. Aliens have taken over all of Europe, mainland Europe, and they're poised to cross the English Channel into England, and then from there cross over into America. And so we're holding them at bay in Europe, but they're about to break out. And Tom Cruise is plunged in and sent to the front lines, you know, having no idea how to fight. And so the design of the aliens for me were entirely about most antagonizing Tom Cruise's character. You know, it started with character. It was, yeah, Tom who's been, you know, selling the war, you know, and telling, you know, convincing young soldiers to enlist, you know, and put on this suit of armor and you'll be a superhero. You'll be Iron Man. You get to go kill aliens in this suit of armor, this cool suit of armor. You know, suddenly finds himself in the front lines having to wear that suit of armor. And so I wanted to design an alien that if you were Tom Cruise, never having fought in your life, never having worn this suit of armor, plunged into the front lines of this epic battle, what would be the scariest possible thing you could confront? What would be the thing that you would want to just take that suit off and just take off running? And so I wanted to design an alien that was so fast that it suddenly made the suit of armor seem slow and so almost claustrophobic. And but for me, you know, movies are always about character, and so every design decision always came back to what would bring out the best aspects of Tom Cruise's character, Emily Blunt's character.
That's right. Yeah, the Starship
love
Trooper
that.
suits are they look like tanks. And I mean that as an insult by comparison, with like the aliens like
Yeah.
whipping around and stuff.
Dude, I dig that a lot. That's a really good point that he put so much thought into it. I love that.
and
Well, I think
fun
Okay.
fact: we almost had a Tom Cruise led Iron Man movie in the '90s.
What? Really?
That would have been very
Almost?
different. I don't feel Tom. Okay,
What happened?
let's
I'm
let's
glad it
engage
didn't
with
happen.
this earnestly. I don't feel like Tom Cruise in the 90s was self-aware enough to be able to do that. Whereas Robert Downey Jr. is a perfect character because he also has had his
Been through
troubles.
rehab.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas Tom
Erica
Cruise is-
getting right to the point.
Whereas
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is shaming Brooke Shields for going on antidepressants while she had postpartum. Like, he doesn't know what that's like.
And
Yeah.
just just so people know, the most famous Iron Man story is Demon in the Bottle, where he went through a bout of alcoholism. So,
Well, that's-
Robert
I
Downey
didn't know
Jr.
about that.
is
Okay.
a very perfect person to play that,
Yeah.
and Tom Cruise is not.
When they announced that was going to be Robert Downey Jr., I was like, oh, okay. Like, I was like, that could be really cool. And lo,
Yeah.
it
And
started
it
the whole-
was.
Yeah, lo it was. And the whole cottage industry of movies was created. But I think that's getting back to the clip we saw, like part of that, the design and the effects for the aliens and for the suits and whatnot, supporting the characters. It sounds obvious, right? It sounds like, oh, of course they would, but like, no, think of how many of these terrible action movies, these soulless romps of just complete, like, you know, hey, there's explosions. That's what you need, right? You fucking idiots. You want explosions? We'll give you some fucking explosions, you fucking morons.
Matrix.
Like-
Excuse me.
And that's one of the things I love about this movie. It supports the plot. It supports the character
Right.
development. And like to be thinking about things like the exosuits as how does this support the this incredible character arc for this character that's objectively the heel to begin with, like literally just the worst dude that like manages to find redemption for himself, and then someone who's the the classic reluctant hero. I'm just doing my job and trying to make sure my people don't get killed, and like whatever idiot I have to take care of on the way, fine. To support those character arcs with the equipment, cool.
All right, this is the continuation of Doug Lyman talking about this process.
All right, bring it on, baby. Let's go.
All right, Doug.
Let's go, Doug.
Just like your movie, go.
There's a lot of talk about the suit of armor and how heavy it was and how cumbersome it was, and really what a nightmare it was to film with. And it is actually all true. It was important to me. I was making a film about real characters behind enemy lines, of a Europe that's been overtaken, and I didn't want them to be wearing computer generated suits. The go-to in Hollywood would be to make computer generated suits, and for a good reason, because building suits of armor like this that are actually functioning suits is very expensive to actually build the suits. And then when you actually have to shoot with a suit of armor like that, getting everybody into those suits, and then physically the toll that it takes on your actors,
this is why I'm not an actor.
Is extraordinary, and the toll it takes on the production is extraordinary. But the flip side of it, and when people see Edge of Tomorrow, the performance that we were able to get out of the suit of armor. So
the performance is buffering.
Oh, what's happening here? Oh,
it's the aliens. They got to him.
Well, I know those suits were in the movie. They're supposed to be like, what is the word when they're like they're like motorized. In the movie, they're motorized, but in real life, for the actors, they were not.
Exactly. Yeah. They had to move them.
Yeah.
Which one of my favorite lines though was whenever he's like got a hole in his chest, and he's like, "You're taking my battery? You have a hole in your chest. You're taking my battery?"
Yeah. I think that for me, this is a very funny movie. Like, not like all the time, but enough in a way that, like, one of my favorite genres of movie is like dark comedy, I guess is what they call it. And I think that like there's just enough moments. First of all, I feel like this is an action film first and foremost, and then cool character development, sci-fi expansion on a theme, and then like dark comedy after that. But the fact that it did all these things while being a blockbuster, failed or otherwise, is kind of astounding.
And I love that kind of just subtle humor too with everything, because like humor happens in real life. It always does. And like I'm a huge fan of Elmore Leonard, the way he weaves humor into his stories. And this movie's humor kind of felt that same kind of natural, like, Bill Paxton's character, shout out to our late friend of the show,
the King.
He's friends with Gabe, or was back before we lost him.
We appreciate the clarification. Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, but no, he it's just nice to know that he's a friend of a friend.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He clearly seems like would be the best dude to hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
his performance was so good in this movie too.
By nature of the fact that you hear the story of him like talking to fans that just come up to him and with the "game over, man, game over," and he was like, it's whatever, they like it. It's nice to be known for something, like
they like it.
Yeah,
more and more people are saying it.
More and more.
One of the sad things though about his performance in this is it seems like he is pretty much unrecognizable until you see him, and it seems like I don't know if you guys got this impression, but like it seems like maybe some of that was the fact that he was like cancer ravaged by this point in his life.
I guess that would be the case, huh?
Yeah, because he died a couple years after this, and he's very skinny and and very very lean, I think, and like his eyes are a little bit sunken in, and it feels like my reading of it, like seeing it now, knowing that he died of cancer a couple years later, is kind of like it seems like it seems like the cancer was taking a toll on him. I mean, he used that. It seems like he also 100% used that for this performance because like it's unrecognizably Bill Paxton, right? Like he's like it seems like it's some like just yokel Kentucky guy, and you believe that because it's not it's not like, oh, Bill Paxton just ran up to Tom Cruise. It's like this he's like pretty much unrecognizable at that point.
I mean, that's what you do as an actor.
I guess I just thought he was getting older.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like if you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he looks pretty good, and this came out around the same time. I don't think he's as ravaged as Forrest is quite making it out to be. But I also think like he did
fight.
No, I was asking. I was asking whether you guys thought it was.
I'm just asking questions.
Yeah. He was in the Training Day TV show, and he looks good in that too.
But talking about Doug Liman's career as a as a filmmaker, as both all right. So
as Garfield's roommate with John, and during the first year of the publication.
So originally he does. I mean, he does Swingers as both the director and the DP, which means that he was literally filming Swingers. But very quickly he goes on to do the Bourne Identity, and then produce the rest of the Bourne films.
Go.
Well, yeah, and Go is, but you already mentioned Go, but
you only get one.
You got one shot for that.
Hey, you didn't go. You didn't go.
You used up your Go Pass, world.
It's over. Not pass Go. Do not collect $200.
That's the setup. That's the delivery.
No, but like, so he produces all of the Bourne films after that. He's the executive producer on it. He makes American Made, which is the movie about the CIA doing drug trafficking.
Is it MAID or MADE? Because I think of the Tick character, American Made.
Not the Jennifer Lopez movie.
No, it's American MADE. It stars Tom Cruise in it.
Because there is an American MAID Made, which is a pastiche of Captain America and Wonder Woman, and the Tick expanded universe for the cartoon.
So another movie that he directs, produces, and is the DP on is Fair Game, which is a Sean Penn movie where his wife is in the CIA. So he kind of has this long career of. Oh, and he also did Mr. and Mrs. Smith. He has this long career of kind of spy films, CIA films.
What if spies but hot and married? Yes, that was the conceit of that movie.
I get it.
I got it too. Yeah, like the point wasn't lost on me.
Pretty much.
Did you hear the part about where they're hot?
But
yeah, I did.
It's all what if spies but forgot who he is. All of the Bourne films like spies, but I haven't seen Fair Game, so I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like
that one's more of a drama, like one of those movies where they're trying to go for the Oscar because it's based on the Valerie Plame thing, if I remember correctly.
Oh God, ugh. Vomit.
And but like it's like I don't know, but even looking at. I forgot what the fuck I was going to say.
Well, but that makes me
think that he did after Edge of Tomorrow. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think these are before.
Well,
those
some of them.
Before.
So Fair Game is before.
I saw Mr. and Mrs. Smith on an airplane, which is the perfect way to see that movie. By the way,
it's. I mean, they're. I think they're before.
Saw that.
I mean, they're generally before. I mean, he seems like he does a lot of executive producing now. But
okay.
That's a job I want. You're doing a great job,
because we need more white guys doing that. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah. Executive producer. That means you have no involvement whatsoever, and to tell everyone they're doing a great job and to put your name on it.
Anybody else notice that all of the soldiers seem to either be like total rednecks or British people?
There's nothing in between. It's just
there was nothing in between.
It's like the meme. There are only two types of soldiers. Yeah. Hey y'all, war is crazy, and like, oh, pip, gonna get my shit shot off.
But it's not just that. I think if I remember correctly, the class of the accent was lower. With the British people, like they weren't.
That's true.
It was the more working class accents.
I did notice that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Working class.
So they were going with working class.
That's the thing about like English accents. Like there are levels, and you got to pay attention to that. Like,
is there, Andy? Tell us more about it.
No,
but there are blue collar working class people in America who don't sound like that. Like, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny.
So anyway,
another thing I'd like to say about The Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh, thank you, Erica. Yes, please.
Which is that I really appreciated the pacing of the like replays of the day, because at the beginning it started out where like you saw him wake up every time it reset, you saw him wake up and then it started over and he was, figuring it out. And like, as he's figuring it out, you start figuring it out. Because like a psychopath, I was trying to like tick marks for all the redos when I first started watching this. I don't know. My brain is very.
But like an editor,
sometimes.
like because you edit video, so like you're thinking.
Well,
about
okay, maybe. Thank you for that. Yeah, I hadn't gotten there, but yeah.
Or a psychopath,
right.
one or the other. Yeah.
Hopefully, it's what you said.
Is there a difference? I mean, look at Forrest.
Well, I can't speak to that, but just like as he's kind of
we
figuring
love
out how things are
editing,
going,
don't we, folks?
like I was figuring it out too, and like but I also appreciated by the time I didn't really need to see him wake up again, they were already skipping that part and like showing him like figure things out farther along.
You don't get more information than is necessary to
right. Yeah, I thought that was a really well paced.
There's an economy of motion to it. I agree. I think that you're able to do more narratively and make it more exciting by not showing. And believe me, I'm a dude that loves art house stuff, right? Of course I do. I've got a Criterion Channel subscription, but like, I mean, like, sometimes it's like, yeah, we get it. It's a dude got his bike stole. We got it.
It's different than say like Boss Level, where they actually explain everything with narration.
Right, and
which is a fun movie. Like I'm not saying go watch Boss Level.
Boss Level is great fun, but let's be clear, it's the New York hardcore level of band to Edge of Tomorrow's like massive influential like Gang of Four or something.
Yeah.
Well, I think that
apologies to our New York hardcore followers. By
another thing about like
I liked Boss Level, but it's like you could smell the Axe body spray off of that movie, but I liked it.
Yeah, no, Boss Level is definitely fun. Mel Gibson plays the villain.
I mean, it's quite.
It's everything you want it to be. Yeah. Honestly, Frank Grillo is the hero, and he's
all love to Frank Grillo. Look, I would write a movie for Frank Grillo tomorrow. Like, set me up. Let's do it.
He made Wolf Warrior 2 worth watching.
Yeah, Frank Grillo is the fucking man. Frank Grillo, come on the show, please, for the love of fuck.
But no, like speaking about the pacing in Edge of Tomorrow, like the fact that they're able to number one is the pacing of him waking up again, right? And they kind of play that for comedy in a bunch of different times where like he gets up and then he's like maggot and he gets up and he's like maggot, like, you know what I mean? So they do the training at the same time as that, and they cut that really interestingly. But at the same time, they also kind of redo his walk through the barracks, I guess, with so they redo
Sergeant
that walk through
Farrell.
Master Sergeant Farrell.
Sergeant Farrell.
You put a Master Sergeant in. So they redo his walk through the barracks, and they change the music up depending on the like where he's at emotionally within it. So like there's the one where you can tell that he's been changed by the entire experience.
My god, I'm gonna have to watch it again now. I didn't even think about the music.
No, it's the musical cues, like where you have the same visuals but with a different musical cue, is a perfect example of how you can use music to change mood.
Shouldn't have gotten high first.
Although, quite frankly, this is a good movie to get high to.
You could probably do worse.
Just not LSD.
Yeah, so they've changed, but like, so when he
start
kind
making
of
YouTube channels that are very popular and for the wrong reasons.
when he gets jaded by the entire situation, and he's like, he's done with it and he's upset. You see his all of a sudden the music gets very somber and he's walking through it, and like, it feels like his whole experience. And that's when he turns to the guy and he's like, listen, I need a battery. I need, acre, like, you know what I mean? But each time, and he seems more desperate in that scene. Obviously they shot that scene separately, probably, you know what I mean? Like, but the whole thing about kind of doing the same scene over and over and over again and kind of tweaking it in different ways, tweaking the pacing, tweaking the music is interesting.
Yeah.
I think you hit on one of the many reasons why I pushed and pushed and pushed and also pushed for this movie to be on the show, because I think it's wildly interesting in all the ways that when I learned more about Lyman, I almost think it was an accident that it was this good. But like all the intrinsic elements and other aspects to it all came together. And that this is an ensemble effort in a way that we take things for granted. I think with movies that are like ostensibly quote unquote cool, that like cool things will be happening. There's cool things happening all the time here. And it's sort of like 2 clicks above the cool factor of where it should be for like a major blockbuster with Tom fucking Cruise in it. And all loved Emily Blunt because Emily Blunt is a stone cold badass in this. And the fact that we've gone over an hour and haven't talked at length about how badass she is and how badass her character is speaks to how interesting this movie is.
I'm disappointed in myself now.
Well, I'm disappointed in you as well. No, I think it's everything comes together, like the editing, like just the design of the suits alone. We went into it at that length, right? The music, how it does the same scenes with different music and evokes different results. As like, remember, like, and Forrest, you mentioned this earlier in our very private group chat about how like The Shining, you recut that so it's like Shine, and it's like, oh, it's a heartwarming tale about a son and a dad reconnecting in a hotel. And okay, fine, but it's not just that one thing. It's recontextualization through music and through all these modern elements that manage to make like what is ostensibly like a bizarre, crazy ass action movie something more, because there's all these elements working for it. And ultimately that's what it should be, right? But think about if you're working, I mean, Erica, you know, you work in film. Imagine if you were just like cashing those checks on like some bullshit where you know like this movie's gonna fucking suck, but it's gonna pay my rent, so that's fine. Versus like, oh, we're making something rad. Like this is something that like we're invested in this, and we're all gonna do our piece to make this as cool as it can be. I feel like this was almost accidentally that latter thing, and that's one of the things that makes it so fascinating to me. Because this is one of the like, there's other movies that have been try-hard movies that have tried to do the kinds of things that this movie does, and they fail. And I will stand up for Palm Springs. I think Palm Springs is a good movie. But
I liked that one.
I liked it quite a bit, but I think Edge of Tomorrow had more to risk by doing something like this, because people were like, what? Who's looking for Starship Troopers plus Groundhog's Day? That sucks. And that wasn't like nobody probably
both of those movies.
But I love all those things too. And I was like, and it's great. But what if it was great? And also Tom Cruise like learned humility as an actor by like playing this character that like maybe is a little bit too true to form, like MSNBC liberal PR dude. Holy shit.
Do you think that Tom Cruise actually learned life, like the actor learned life lessons through making this movie?
I think he may have. I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
I think he may have. And I have evidence to support my supposition. But like, I'm not saying he became like the best dude that he could possibly be. I'm saying I think he learned something in the same way that him portraying in Tropic Thunder, the movie executive, who is a character that he clearly has had dealings with before, had some level of catharsis that allowed him to do some growth as an actor, to kind of think in things a different way. That, like, I think he really thought about the quote unquote hero's journey of the guy that third time tonight was getting his dick kicked in the dirt 300 plus times every day, right? That maybe that makes him get a little existential. I don't know the man. I like his work. Is he?
You guys aren't buddies?
Huh? No.
You guys aren't friends?
Not so much.
That's so weird.
You don't talk these. I talked some trash on Mission Impossible, so no. Which I've never seen, by the way, and I absolutely did not do.
You've never seen even the first one?
No.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm real busy watching French New Wave.
But the second one was about John Woo.
You know what? Cool.
And Tom Cruise had really good hair in that movie. I mean,
well, I'm in now.
No. Honestly, like that's
it's one thing Conan cares about.
But the hair on Tom Cruise and that and Mission Impossible 2 like sets it apart. Like Tom Cruise has never had as good hair.
I'm hearing everything you're saying, but in Trump voice. The hair on Tom Cruise.
The hair, Tom Cruise's hair.
I only watched the John Wick movies like 6 months ago. So
I'm not mad at you.
Which
I
also
just
has
was
great
surprised.
hair.
Also has great hair. Yeah.
Yes.
Like yeah.
Shout out to Keanu Reeves' hair.
Don't set your clock by what I will or won't watch, because it's very bizarre. But I absolutely adore Edge of Tomorrow. I'll never watch Titanic. And like none of those things make any sense to like a lot of people. And it doesn't matter. It's okay. The world will keep spinning without my opinion on it. It's okay. Sorry, Christina.
She did bring up Titanic a lot.
Oh,
She
yeah,
brought
yeah.
Titanic like 7 times. I'm like,
That's
you
Andy's
really want to
Stargate.
talk about
It's
Titanic?
Christina's Stargate.
I like the part where Leonardo DiCaprio went through the smokestack and ended up in another planet.
I like the fact that Emily Blunt, as I mentioned before, is the hero of this. And Emily Blunt, this is where I realized Emily Blunt kicks ass. Like I was like, Emily Blunt's really good. Like I had seen her in a couple. I was like, she's all right, whatever, cool. But like I was like, no, she's good, because she was able to pull off that sort of effortless, like, I'm annoyed by you, but I have to support you in whatever capacity that I have to do, and I will do that and nothing more, because I think you are slime. But by the same token, I'm going to protect my people. Great.
I think she was annoyed by him at times. I think you're right, but I also saw, even from the beginning, moments where she was kind of like taking him in, where she was like, "Oh, there's something like."
Hi, Christina.
I think that there was some connection there even from the beginning, and I think that ties into the fact that the movie wanted a bit of a love story woven in as well, even though it wasn't. I guess it's, according to what I've read in the book, there was not a love story at all.
But who amongst us has not at one time or another been attracted to somebody annoying as fuck? Like, it happens, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
I mean, that's real.
Yeah, that's why they're annoying, though. It's because you're attracted to them. It's at least part of the reason, I think. I don't know. I've been watching Big Mouth all day, y'all. I don't know. All day, Big Mouth.
But I think Emily Blunt's character is really interesting, and the fact that you get to see, like, she's basically, look, I'm gonna use a comic books analogy, right? Like she's like the sci-fi like Captain America of her time. She's the what's the in Inglourious Bastards, they make the big propaganda film with like the dude shooting. She's like that. She's the Lenny Riefenstahl. I'm just gonna ignore these comments, by the way.
I love it.
I'm glad somebody is. She's the war propaganda. Right? She's like, and in the same way that anybody attractive who does something cool in war is going to become made into propaganda, because that's like what they do, right? And that's part of like Tom Cruise's job, not as a dude, but as the character of this movie, to be able to do these kinds of things. And like, to see all of that be known, and see like just like the around the outside elements of it, but then also see like that growth of like her be like you can see the moment in this movie she's like, oh, maybe this guy isn't a complete piece of shit, right? Like there's that moment, and you're like, oh yeah, we're all kind of thinking about the same thing at the same time. I really need to turn the comments off for the private chat. But anyway, it's interesting.
You're welcome, by the way.
It's interesting to me that you would get that kind of journey for someone that's basically like the female Chris Evans type, right? Who's like she's meant to be like a badass, and she's a badass. Yeah. She's great at doing it, but also like she's a human, and to see her like gain a what we will just charitably call begrudging respect to this douchebag who at his top dollar best we'll say is Keith Olbermann, right? That's top dollar best. Probably like low tier, like C grade MSNBC grifter in reality. But at his top dollar best is like, like a polemicist and a charlatan, That's kind of cool because it's game respect game time, because he has actually changed as a person, and he's grown, and he's become something more than what he was when he started, which is a whole hero's journey, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't often happen in these action movies either. So like,
no, it doesn't. You've seen those Expendables.
Yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't say boss level, not to shit on that movie, but like, does the main character grow? Not really. I think he fixes some
hair grows. That's about it.
But that's about it.
What's funny is I agree with your point that Emily Blunt's character Rita is the hero of the story, truly, but I also don't. I mean, and you do get some of her vulnerability through the movie, but not so much that I thought that I really got enough of her to really consider her I still feel like the main character was not the hero of the movie. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what I'm saying here, but something about where I would have expected to get more person from the from the for her being such an important character.
Yeah.
We got her functioning as okay, I'm going to help you out because I've been through this, and we're going to figure this out, and I'm going to help you save the world / I'm going to save the world by guiding you,
Well, I think there could be a cut of this movie that's just the perspective of her that would be both critically acclaimed and worth watching, but wouldn't have reached a larger audience. And I don't say that because I think Emily Blunt is, not, a bankable actress or awesome, because she's both of those things. But
right, yeah.
I think it's the confluence of a lifetime of Tom Cruise's work coming to the point of him being this guy that low key sucks and high key gets fucked up 1,000 Ways Till Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's the thing that hooks the people in, right? So then
you're seeing a guy learn his lesson, right?
Yes.
He's ultimately he sucks, but he learns his lesson in the end, and that's the whole thing.
Conan, do you want me to play the Howard Stern clip?
I think this is a cool as hell clip, and I would love to.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
This is of course new woke Howard Stern, a different I think a different Howard Stern than the one
the last 20 years post going to see a psychiatrist.
I'm open to it.
The new Howard Stern that of course got replaced as a body double by the Clintons.
Everybody's talking about it more and more.
You know what movie I haven't seen of yours that made a ton of money? The one you did with Tom Cruise. For some reason,
you haven't seen that movie.
I've never seen that movie.
It.
Oh yeah.
Do you like action movies? Do you
I
like?
love action movies,
and he would love this. Yeah.
Tom is so brilliant in it. He's not the earnest action hero. He's a total coward. He's funny. He's like Wile E. Coyote. He's so good in it. It's my favorite thing he's done.
But I would think going on set with a guy who is successful like Tom Cruise would be on the nervous meter.
No, that one I was scared for. And I had to get into this sort of crazy physical shape for it because she's supposed to be this lethal warrior. So I was in training for 3 months beforehand. And I know that he, is big into doing his own action. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to try and keep up and do all of that. But I was bricking it. I was scared. I also was scared that I thought it was going to be boys club, it was all male producers, male director, male writers, Tom Cruise, male cast predominantly. And that's usually, to be honest, that's been my experience with a bunch of movies I've done. It's been quite male dominated. But this one, I did not. It was one of the first experiences I've had where I was completely brought into the fold creatively. And I was in every script meeting and every single change that was made. And I was treated like gold on it, even though my body was battered around every day on that movie. And I still have an injury from it. But it was an amazing experience. The hardest thing I've ever done, but it was amazing.
In other words, it's scary for an actress, for a woman, to go on a set in a traditionally male run business. Those guys get together in a little think tank after every little shot, after every little scene. They have a collaboration, and you're sort of stuck sitting on the sidelines and not included.
As a woman, you can get what you want and you can get your point across, but you got to dance around a bit more. And I still feel that there's a sort of need to slightly contort and accommodate and make sure you can be really nice about it. And like, you can't be too direct, because if you're too direct, well, then you're ambitious. God forbid you sound ambitious or sort of tough, you know? So I always get there now. And I feel I can be much more direct now, and it won't be taken the wrong way. It will just be accepted as like, no, I'm not throwing weight around. I'm just telling you this is not how it's going to go. But now I think I've earned my stripes creatively as well. So everything I do going forward now, I will produce it, because then they have to listen. But I come with ideas, I will rewrite scenes, and people are very open to it now.
When a movie's so big like that with Tom Cruise, has he ever asked you to do a sequel? Is there a talk of such a thing?
We wanted to. Honestly, I think the movie's too expensive.
Is that what it is?
I just don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how we're going to do it. And I think that it's hard to align everyone's schedules. And I would love it. Doug Liman would love it. Tom would love it. We'd all love to do it. But I think until we figure out what's going on with the industry, honestly, I think we need to figure out what is the next roadmap for the kinds of films that people want to make.
I would watch the shit out of a sequel to Edge of Tomorrow. That's one of the few ones that I think that I would be like.
It is in pre-production, and it's called Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat.
I don't know if that's real or a bit, but I'm here for it either way.
No. If you look at IMDb, it's like in early stages of pre-production, which doesn't mean anything.
Second stage thing. Howard Stern is a great interviewer. And I think that was awesome. And Emily Blunt is an impressive woman, and I appreciated that whole clip. And thank you for playing it for us, because I think I pulled that when it was still like I was like, no, you guys, we got to do it tomorrow. Here's all the reasons why. And it's awesome that you picked that clip independent of me, you know, pushing for it. That like you picked that because it's awesome. It's great.
Yeah.
I think I got us back on my Twitch. Well,
this is Angel Princess, everybody.
Oh, Angel Princess.
Yeah, I let my child name it, and they were 4 at the time. And they really wanted a calico with, call it Angel Princess, and she's a tortie.
Oh.
So not to move away from the Angel Princess content, but Erica, how do you feel about that clip?
I feel like my limited experience in that industry but it's still like pretty spot on with my experience. It's frustrating because it's kind of similar with playing in rock bands, I think, where it's like there are so many men that you can meet who are doing this kind of work, who are fantastic and conscientious and great at what they're doing. They're creative, they're smart, they're friendly, they're encouraging, whatever, you know, like all those things, like they're great people. But collectively, I find them frustrating, just because sometimes I'm like, get out of, can I say fuck?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of my way.
No, you can't. Why did you just say that word?
Yeah, I mean, but I get that, like, you know, obviously, like, I feel like anyone who either is a woman or has known a woman who's tried to do something that isn't being a nurse or being a teacher or being a secretary, like you do in those roles, you have to like do a dance in order to like get your points across and try to find a way to be like, hey, this is what I want to be doing. Like, can you help me do that? You know, like, can you help like see my potential and like what I'm already doing? And I love that she shows up, because I feel like if I was an actor, I would have a hard time with showing up and being like, hey, I have creative ideas about this script, you know, like, because I wasn't there for the writing of it. Probably.
Have you ever seen Living in Oblivion?
No.
Oh, it's, first of all, amazing film.
Okay, I'll make a
Secondly,
note.
Steve Buscemi is incredible in it. Thirdly, there's a
Oh,
Tom
he's
Cruise.
incredible.
It's maybe his best film. There's a Tom Cruise style stand-in that has lots of ideas about like his role and how it should be portrayed. And it's
Wait, is this that movie where he's like trying to make a movie and everything goes wrong?
yes,
And he has a relationship with one of the actresses, and it
yes,
gets
it's
I have seen that.
from being John Malkovich.
Oh my God.
Catherine Keener.
That film is brilliant. I forgot the name of it. I'm glad you said that.
Well, and there's a character that's ostensibly Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I have some ideas about this role. I'm just going to do this totally different thing right now. And it's the hubris of just like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Or just Jean-Claude Van Damme from Street Fighter.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Totally. Yeah. Same shit though. Yeah.
Invisible boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if I was writing and directing a movie, I don't know that I would necessarily, especially at that point in development where I was shooting, want more creative input, because at some point it's too many cooks, right?
I'm gonna tell you right now, as you know damn well, as like the head chef, like there's sometimes the amount of opinions that you want is zero because you have so much going on.
Yeah.
You're just trying to keep the fucking ship afloat. They're like, hey, I had some thoughts about the anchor, and it could be maybe, I think that's a lovely idea. I literally cannot hear it right now.
Yeah.
And the idea they'll have the actors who are given the most credit and do the least, and I say that as a fan of acting, as far as filmmaking goes, be like, I have some ideas for how to make this better. Really, do you?
Yeah.
Great. Let's also hear your ideas for the Israeli-Palestine conflict and how we can sort that out while we're fucking at it. Like, why don't you do a great thing and act? Why don't you act the shit out of your role and concentrate on that and let me do the directing or make me do the writing or whatever. And like, that's something that there's something to be said for that. But there's also something to be said for like, if you can bring something to it and he'd be like, hey, I was thinking of like doing it more like this.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the key to making like an amazing role.
Well, and that's the other side too, where it's like the synergy of like, multiple people's opinions and views. And like, if somebody comes into their role and they're like, hey, I had this thought about it. Like sometimes it's like, oh, I didn't think about that. Let's try it that way.
Well, and as an executive producer, I always try to hear everybody.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, the best time of the movie that is not Groundhog's Day is Edge of Tomorrow. This is an objective fact. No one may argue against it.
Were there comments you wanted to touch on, Conan? I usually like bring up the.
Well, that's
my signature bit.
We have a bunch of letterbox ones. I'm trying to see.
Oh yeah, what a wild idea!
I'm starting to catch on to the pattern.
I have one more clip to play to get us in the mood.
This is why you're my favorite musical side person that is not Tony Ash, by the way.
Oh, wow.
This is my one clip to play to get us in the mood for Conan's signature letterbox bit.
Get us in the mood?
Yeah. To really just yeah. Exactly. To get us feeling real intimate. And
why did Sanford and Sons?
Yeah, I was doing Let's Get It On. What are you doing?
I'm in the mood for
Norton Show.
Saturday. Cam Norton, baby.
I love how much they love each other. Honestly, like it warms my heart.
Yeah, because isn't Tom Cruise notoriously like difficult with his co-stars?
I mean, obviously, I don't know, but I've heard he can be a real
Erica.
dick.
How about when you worked with him? How was that?
you guys both made that movie, right?
We're familiar. Yeah. No.
That was you, right?
Yeah.
We're friends, but we're friendly.
Oh, Risky Business. That was you, right?
Sure. I was like 4 years old. Yeah, it's good.
Exactly.
No, I just like every interview that I watched with the two of them talking about it. They were just like they were having fun talking about it, and they clearly had fun making it, and I really do appreciate that.
That counts for something.
Yeah,
that really does, and like that's one of the reasons why, like, dude, so many people I've tried to talk into watching this film. I should say this final thoughts, but are like, no, I won't watch that. That sucks. I'm like, I'm telling you, it does not.
Well, I will also say that to people when that happens to come up in conversation, that it does not suck. This movie objectively does not suck.
Yeah, it's good. It's wildly interesting and a good use of your time.
It's a
As
good
much as
product. It's a good product, and people love it, and more people are talking about it.
People are talking about it more and more.
As much as I wanted to make a joke about how being a Scientologist makes you unendingly optimistic, you know.
Well, I had a good time watching a few months ago Eyes Wide Shut a few times, and it was while I was on a vacation.
Eyes Wide Shut is great.
Was that the first time you'd seen it, or were you revisiting?
Yeah, it was the first time I'd seen it, but we ended up doing a stream on it before this show. But back when I was doing this kind of show, but like on Ben Burgess's
but
channel.
not nearly as good because I wasn't on it.
but we ended up doing an interesting stream on Eyes Wide Shut, where I was sitting on the floor of a Airbnb that I was in San Antonio talking about the movie, and was real out of sorts for that. But I had the same microphone, but it was like in my hand when I was trying to do it. But it was interesting, and that movie, I mean,
that's sure about how Forrest was on a podcast about Eyes Wide Shut and had the microphone in his hand. It's pretty good.
No, but that movie is interesting because obviously Stanley Kubrick, killed over and died 3 days after the movie was finished. Like,
he never really got final cut.
He did? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
no, that's very contentious and the source of much conspiracy theorism.
Oh,
well,
okay.
I don't think that. I mean, I don't feel like it's a conspiracy theory. I just feel like it's interesting that it was the longest shoot that Stanley Kubrick or anyone else at that point had ever done, and like by far the longest shoot anyone had ever done. And it was he had tortured Tom Cruise specifically, but I mean, because Stanley Kubrick's thing is that he tortures at least one
of all Shining.
Well, he tortures at least one of his,
that too.
at least one of his actors. Usually the woman who's acting, but in this case, he really fucking hated both Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman throughout the process of filming that movie. So he was torturing both of them, and he tortured them through the longest film shoot he had anyone had ever done at that point, and then killed over and died.
Any of the Terry Gilliam ones?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And he tortured them for an excessively long amount of time, and then keeled over and died 3 days after the movie was finished.
Damn.
Yeah, where's that time loop movie? Go ahead.
he just wakes up. He fucking dies. Wakes up. Tortures Tom Cruise.
How am I gonna fuck with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman today? Well,
I'm gonna throw Shelley Duvall at them.
Wow.
See, like him torturing Shelley Duvall, not cool. Him torturing Tom Cruise, very cool.
Yeah,
we love to see it, folks. We love to see it.
He just put his dick in the dirt. It was just
Shelley Duvall. Yeah, that I remember reading a bit about that. That was
she
made me kind of sad.
She seems to have been prone to mental illness anyway. So it's like one of those things where not justifying it whatsoever. He fucking tortured her. Like it's not
still a human being.
No. Yeah. But her state now, I think, is
she played olive oil, so she put all her torture rights off the table playing olive oil.
Right.
No, but like the fact that, which is another Robert Altman movie, but but the fact that she kind of I mean, I don't think anyone could have known that she was prone to that type of mental illness, but like torturing her into something that I think she was kind of preordained to maybe experience in general is an insanely fucked up story.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember. I think it was Dr. Phil that like hunted her down pretty much and got her for an interview, and she like had gained like 100 pounds and was like just out of it, and like it was like an insanely sad thing to watch. Which of course everything that Dr. Phil does is insanely sad to watch, and
that
he is the worst mental health professional.
I would love to talk to Shelley Duvall.
Well, that guy's not actually a psychologist.
I thought you were gonna say you would love to talk to Dr. Phil.
No, God,
Andy, you need to get your stuff together. You need to get it together, Andy.
Andy, when I was on the set of Saw, let me tell you.
Andy, I was on the set of Saw, and talking to you makes me want to saw my leg off even more.
Every time I hear you bring up Stargas, I want to saw my own damn leg off, man.
Dang.
Which, by the way, Oprah gave us both Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz who is now running for the most toxic Trumpian race against John Fetterman, probably.
Who's the best dude?
I can't believe
who is a
that.
great dude and has the puffiest jackets. And I fuck with.
And has big bouncer energy, like in a way that like
yeah, he does.
That like Roadhouse could only ever imagine as a movie that celebrates bouncers as celebrities. Like John Fetterman would be like the Hulk Hogan of bouncing.
No,
I do have a lot of. Sorry.
I seriously love that dude. Everything I've seen.
Fetterman's great.
Yeah.
He's also like 1,000,000 miles tall too, which is amazing.
He's really,
like,
he's really like
only like gas station search. Which
his politics are like bouncer Bernie Sanders.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm for
like,
it. I'm here for
like
it.
Like a guy that wants to kick you out of the bar, but then also make sure you have health care in case you land too hard.
I'm gonna have to punch you, but you will get free health care after I'm done roughing you up a little.
I'm going to make sure that any injuries that you suffer, a doctor will be able to see you, and it'll be okay.
I know he's from Brooklyn, but like Vermont does not feel right that way. Like Vermont seems like such a chill place.
I mean, I never hung out in Vermont until this pandemic, and then both summers I went to Vermont for like an extended vacation. And I don't know, Vermont gives me big Bernie energy. It really does. Like I went to Ben and Jerry's, both summers. Like I was just like, this is a Bernie place. Like I'm happy I came here.
Erica, have you seen Bernie Sanders' old public access show when he was mayor?
I saw a clip from it, which was hilarious.
It's so
clip
great.
I happened to see.
He's like running around the mall, like interviewing goths and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
he was interviewing anarchists, like goth anarchists.
Bernie Sanders interview with Elon
What
Musk?
I love, if I may, Andy, just real quick.
No, I haven't. Andy.
No, you got to see this.
What I love is he also interviews children, but he does not engage with them as if they were children. He engages with them as if the thing about that is that like he'll like engage them with as if they're like adult human beings that have like fully formed political ethos. No, the reason why that's wrong is blah blah blah. Like he just Bernie Sanders.
Bruce Wayne would vote for the Republican in that race. It's unfortunate.
No, he was talking to the kids about drugs. He was like,
actually, well, it's like they're like 7-year-olds too, and it's fantastic. It's a wonderful thing.
It's a wonderful thing. No, he had those kids. That one kid that was like sitting next to him, and he's like, drugs are very bad, and let me tell you why. And then it's like he's having this. He's like, have you ever done drugs? It's like that's like the.
He's fucking 7 years old, Bernie. No, he hasn't fucking done any fucking crack. All right.
You know anyone that smokes crack? Just listen. If you do, you should report them.
I had some Tylenol. I did drugs.
It's adorable. It's adorable. It's fantastic.
I didn't like watching Trevor Noah comment on those clips though. Because I just don't like Trevor Noah.
No, but you should watch the Bernie Sanders Elon Musk interview. It is hilarious.
I haven't seen that.
Link is in the comments.
Oh, well, I'll get right on that. Thank you. Hey, y'all remember Edge Tomorrow?
Wait, what?
What a great movie with the worst title. Like this, a title by committee. Yeah, I know we covered this already, but like, for real, it's a nothing title.
I can almost get why you would want to not name it All You Need Is Kill.
Well, sure.
I mean, like I could see like the estate of the Beatles being a little upset because in the original Japanese it might be a little more cheeky or something. I don't know. But like,
the cheek factor.
People like me could get confused when they go to the theater and think they're seeing a Beatles movie.
Oh, like Free Solo? Was that on air? We talked about that on air, right?
Yeah,
I think so. I bring it up as often as I can because I think it's really funny.
That is a classic Erica Strout story, so I appreciate that you do.
Yeah, like you would.
That can only be you.
Like, I can't believe the new documentary is out from Peter Jackson about the Beatles. Let's go see All You Need Is Kill.
Right. It's the one person that all the lawsuits are for. Exactly.
But no, it's yeah. I mean, like I can understand, not necessarily wanting to keep that title on there. But like,
I think Live Die Repeat's good.
Yeah.
Like that was somebody was like, it's got Die in the title. Unless it's James Bond, we can't really pull it off.
So is Die Hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
Die Another Day. Is there a Bond movie with the word "live" in the title?
Yeah, Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die. So that one has both live and die in it, so you can't.
Best of both worlds. It's a compromise. It's bipartisanship in action.
And you got Paul McCartney.
It just reminds me of staff meetings when I had an office job. Like it was so fucking painful. But wait, I have this other thing to say about this. Like, what if? And it's like no one's gonna think that about that thing.
Yeah,
can we just please
best Bond title though? I mean, seriously, like I'm gonna
Live and Let Die is a good title. I agree.
Yeah, no, like just the song.
Oh, the song, yeah.
The song is the best title theme for a Bond film. I would make that argument.
Hey, you guys ready to do Letterbox?
I am so ready.
Yes, please.
Please.
Conan.
All right, Conan, you want to cue this up?
Absolutely. Letterbox is a social media site, is a place for place for people, humans of all ages and regions and et cetera, to talk about
Conan's a
film.
mimic.
Talk about film with, at, and to each other. It's a bottom-up democracy. Anybody can say anything about anything. You can make long, protracted reviews like I do about a film, or you can make an observation, perhaps pithy, perhaps funny, and perhaps short, such as a one-liner, which is what I do for this bit, for this show, where I pull the ones that I think are clever or, funny, just notable in some fashion, to talk about the film that we have talked about at length for literal hours, to have some person on the internet sum it up in one sentence or two.
I think we've only talked about it for 15 minutes, though, to be fair.
It's the holiday season. What can you say?
that's okay.
Eric.
Wish my life was just Emily Blunt shooting me point blank in the face every day. Notice 914 likes, by the way.
You must have a shitty life. Okay.
That's I feel like that's a millennial thing. Anyway, Emily, if you read this, I'm free on Thursday and would like to hang out. Please respond to this and then hang out with me on Thursday when I'm free.
And only gave it 3.5 stars.
That's tie with that one.
The thing is, Netflix watch 2018.
Yeah,
those are the tags.
What are movies meant for if not Emily Blunt in power armor wielding a Buster sword and fighting spaghetti aliens while trapped in an apocalyptic time loop romance? It's Claire Diane. Tom Cruise is honestly kind of a himbo in this. Ellie Bean.
What's a himbo? Is that a bimbo but a guy?
A dude bimbo, yeah.
Why?
It's a handsome bimbo. That's what it is.
It's like guy line, right?
Handsome. But bimbo, I think, automatically implies that you're attractive, right?
Yeah, but a bimbo is a female, so it's like a himbo is handsome bimbo.
But it has to be a male version of the thing. Okay. All
yeah.
Right. Like, I hate the Manny versus Nanny.
Man.
I'm not here for that. A male nurse. I'm a male nurse. Okay, sorry. Carry on. Bugs me.
I'm the male nurse of the show. Watching Tom Cruise die over and over was strangely therapeutic. Bolt. We've gone over that at length. So.
Yep.
I agree. Is there anything funnier than the scream Tom Cruise lets out after getting run over by a truck?
The only thing funnier would have been if they replaced it with the Howard Dean scream.
Ah! Yeah. I don't remember what I sounded like. Brian
that's what it sounded like.
Brian Espicia? Anyway. Like the opening to Saving Private Ryan with a respawn function. Clueless 50. What's sexier than time loops? Nothing.
Yeah.
Meriwether.
I have questions for Meriwether.
Battle is the great redeemer. It is the fiery crucible in which true heroes are forged. The one place where all men truly share the same rank, regardless of what kind of parasitic sum they were going in.
Okay.
That's not. You said that. You read that wrong. Battle is the great redeemer. It's the fiery crucible in which true heroes are forged. The one place in which men truly share the same rank, regardless of what kind of heuristic scum they were going in. You got to do it with the Kentucky accent.
No,
Yeah.
I look. I know how the original role was read. I'm choosing to do my acting.
You're auditioning for the remake. For the remake.
Exactly.
I did think that was an interesting quote from him because it felt like he was like pointing, like he was making the point for the audience that like, hey, this guy is a fucking parasitic piece of shit. Like,
yeah,
you know, like, and not as if you need more help to like figure it out, but like he was like reinforcing that with that quote.
But I also loved how rehearsed it was too. So like the one time when he gets screwed up with it because Tom Cruise is interrupting him.
Yeah.
Just like the show. Go ahead.
He was able to jump right back into it after a little prompting.
Yeah.
So Danielle 1806. Yeah, I decided to do a Herzog reading. Sorry, I guess it didn't fly. Whatever. We can do another take, right?
But that was I can't do that accent.
This isn't live.
The thing that I don't know. The thing that I felt like with this is that it kind of it's just like the it's the NPC meme kind of. You know what I mean? Like the non-playable character. Like you go into a situation and you have this person just like read out the script to you, and you're like, oh well, yeah, like all right. And they did it like they did a really good job with it. That every time he got fucked up with something, he just seemed extremely confused because it was like he was reading this like video game NPC script. I don't know. That was my take on it, but
I see that.
If Groundhog Day was also D-Day.
If Groundhog Day.
Dick in the
gown.
It's jamming. Jamming? Yamming? I'm gonna say jamming.
I don't know.
I'm jamming. I wanna jam it with you.
I feel like it's that and more stuff. It's Groundhog Day if it was D-Day, but also there's more there.
Sure.
To like
Starship Troopers. And...
Andy, get jamming on the phone. Let's talk about this.
Okay.
We're jamming.
See what I can do.
We're jamming. And I hope you like jamming too. Anyway, starting with Erica.
Wait, hold on. Movie Night Extravaganza
Yeah.
on Letterboxd. I am on at Conan Neutron, J. Andrew World. Right about now, Matthew Film Guy, a bunch of people on the show are Renee Ruin are also on there as well. Follow all of us on Letterboxd. Letterboxd, a place for film. Thank you very much. Not a sponsor.
All right. I wish Letterboxd was a sponsor, but
fucking let's get to it.
I sent them the email. They never responded.
They're washing their hair. Send them the clips.
But Erica, although you haven't seen Uncut Gems, which
despite your flaws of not having seen Uncut Gems,
the one flaw I can think of, not seeing Uncut Gems. Any final thoughts on this movie? Ideas? I'm sure you have notes that you wrote down.
More than I did.
I wanted to feel really prepared this time. I didn't write down final thoughts, but I will say squid tumbleweeds, super fun. Seeing those things move, crazy, very scary. But like I loved all of the infused comedy and even the like mild love story. Like I enjoyed that part of it too, even though it was like I felt like it was well understated. Like it wasn't something they were like really pushing, which was nice, but yeah.
So when he just straight up when he straight up is just like, hey, you ever tried this one thing? And she's like, what, sex? Yeah, I've tried that. Fuck, you got some kind of fucking virgin? Fuck you, dude. No.
It's all Big Mouth is all jumbled in up here at this point, but yeah, I really appreciated all the like careful consideration that went into this movie, and I noticed that Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 91%, which I agree with.
Yeah, it seems like it was different enough to warrant something like that, I think. Conan, Emily Blunt biceps.
Emily Blunt's biceps are awesome in this, by the way. Props. People are talking about it more and more. Anyway, so
the rest of her, not so much.
The rest of her is just fine, Erica. I obviously love this movie because I push for it and then also push for it some more because I think this is one of the more interesting movies in the last 15 years in the genre. I both love and am incredibly skeptical and misplaced optimism all over the place for anything action and sci-fi. And this manages to do cool new stuff with it while also taking the things that I love about those genres and kind of turning them on its ear. It also happens to take a film icon, whether it's an icon that we personally identify or not, and show them in a completely different way and show them in a way that like lets us see a character arc for a character that we all see all the time, whether it's on Twitter, on cable news, or whatever, and see some actual growth. Like the hero's journey is like Tom Cruise's character learns how to be a human being and actually becomes heroic, even as an ancillary character. And by the same token, you have like the arc of Emily Blunt's character, who's basically like, you know, the humans versus alien Lenny Riefenstahl protagonist of the propaganda films of fighting the aliens, but also
essentially.
I mean, like, let's be real, right? But also doesn't want to see the world be run over by this invading force, and honestly has her heart in the right place. And then you get to see all this put together in a way that like the clown, the wily coyote of this entire operation, the least suited, the least self-aware of all of them happens to be the one that cracks the code to all of this utterly by accident, and then manages to find enough growth in himself to know when to ask for help, which is key and intrinsic to this movie and why it has so little to do with reality in a lot of way. But I think it's fucking awesome. I think this movie, if it was called, look, Edge of Tomorrow is the kind of thing. It's like, you know, it's like John Schmidt. What name did you just say? I already forgot it. Like Edge of Tomorrow is eminently forgettable. The movie is not. And this is one of the rare cases where, look, I know all about dangerous nomenclature. I got a record called Dangerous Nomenclature coming out next year. But like, they should have called this almost literally anything else. All you need is kill would have been better because that invokes Roger Corman, right? You're
all
like,
you need is kill.
Live, Die, Repeat would have been fantastic. And this movie should be something that everyone discusses, not just the people on this show. And I think this has been an interesting discussion. And I think this movie is really awesome. And I think this movie is wild underrated. And I think it's honestly probably one of my favorite things Tom Cruise has been in. And not just because we get to see him ostensibly go through purgatory, right? Like, I think he actually showed there's a growth to that character that wouldn't it be awesome to see that same growth in all these same types of people that we see on the cable news and Twitter and whatnot? Like, wouldn't that be great to see them go through a time loop where they just get their fucking ass got like 300 times in a row before they learn a single lesson? Awesome. And the fact that like it managed to be like, hey, he done good. Does that guy suck? Yup. Did he get less sucky? Yes, he did. And credit where credit's due. Don't give him too much credit.
Fighting anyway.
Well, for sure. But I mean, I think that this is the only allowable action movie redux of Groundhog's Day, other than Boss Level. Frank Grillo come on the show, because I think that it pushes that idea forward in a way that a lot of these films use the same conceit don't. And action movies are not progressive. Like, they don't move forward. Like Expendables, the whole franchise is the most reactionary thing that you could possibly imagine. Because it's literally just like, hey, remember those things you like? Here's the nostalgia of all the people you like doing it.
Except for that one scene in the first one with Mickey Rourke. Like that is the complete exception of that entire series. And it's an amazing scene. And so you know. But,
true. But I think
it's weird. It doesn't belong in the movie.
Look,
there's a better film.
Right. Exactly. I think this film is awesome. And there's a reason why I push for it over and over and over again to be included on the Movie Night Invasion series, because I think more people should watch it. And I think that like there's a world where this movie is discussed about in general often. And I think that that's a world that I would like to live in. And like I said, this is the first movie that made me really pay attention to Emily Blunt. And like I think that she does a great job. But I think everybody does a fantastic. This is a great ensemble piece. And it's an ensemble piece in a very different way than something like Arrival, right? But it's got big Denis energy because like you're like you go away with it being like that was pretty fucking good, rather than being like Matrix 2, like, that sure was a sequel to a movie I liked.
All right,
I like it. It's good.
Andy.
I'm going to agree with Conan on most everything, but I would say one slight thing is that there's sci-fi movies at their best usually try to say something, and outside of the growth of the character of Tom Cruise, which is fantastic, that doesn't really talk much about society in the film, but that's okay because
I disagree.
Okay, I'd like to hear that, but I don't think it delved that much. I mean, outside of Tom Cruise being like a lanyard shithead and then grows to be a real boy, that outside of that, which is fantastic, and more movies need something like that. I think there was like a missed opportunity to really put something larger in there. But at the same token, this movie is a masterclass in use of music, film, cuts, editing, like all the stuff that went into making it, the special effects, even the computer generated stuff, because like there was no practical effects outside of the suits. I mean,
I don't
the alien
think,
stuff was CG.
I think that it very much says something about our society specifically. And I think that it's talking about the militarism of our society, the way that we prey on certain people to join these militaristic ventures. And, then it kind of, and which is the reason that I kind of read out Doug Liman's filmography, and we didn't really talk about it after that. But the reason that I think that he has that filmography is that he's kind of the more futuristic intelligence agency director, right? Like the movie that he made, the other movie that he made with Tom Cruise is literally about it's controlled opposition, basically, with Tom Cruise playing they kind of make up the story of Tom Cruise playing a famous drug smuggler that was working with the CIA for a long time, and it's kind of revisiting.
But that's
that
a different
story.
movie. We're talking about.
No, but so I think that this is a director that has kind of spent his career talking about intelligence as a community, talking about the future of things like the CIA, and this movie is essentially saying that the future of militaristic propaganda, the future of militaristic ventures are going to be these soldiers of fortune, are going to be these highly trained, specialized soldiers.
But they're not highly trained, specialized soldiers, because if you go
but
back and watch,
no,
hold up. Because when you watch the whole like thing, the line about Emily Blunt's character is that she had no training, she got this suit, and it made her a fucking superhero, and that's what they kept repeating over and over again at the beginning. It
turns out not to be true.
Yeah, it turns
out not to be true, and it turns out being that she was in a time loop, and that she got to go again and again and again and figure out the weaknesses and the actual.
No. I mean, we got all that, but like what you're saying is that you just said that the movie was saying that you need specially trained people, but is it really saying that?
By the end of it, Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt are both highly trained, specialized soldiers of fortune. And they make that point within the movie. They have a line where they're like, she is essentially a soldier of fortune. And the point that I don't think that necessarily is overtly propagandizing this, but the future of military ventures are going to be the technology first. and it's going to be this idea of a soldier not as someone on the ground with boots on the ground, because that is a position that's technologically advantageous. And as we kind of get into these cybersecurity wars with China, as we get into these more intelligence agency, fomented ventures, it's going to be people like that are kind of privatized and trained to go into these situations, trained over and over and over again to be technologically savvy, rather than kind of just being soldiers with the boots on the ground. And I think that when you look at Doug Liman's career, it's kind of been propagandized to be that style of opposition to militarism in the sense that we know it. And the movies again and again and again kind of play into that same theme. So I don't think that it's necessarily saying that. I don't necessarily think that it's not necessarily military propaganda, but I do think that it's another movie that kind of plays into that same kind of theme.
Well, I think what you're trying to say is that it's pro that.
I don't know. Like,
I mean, like whether or not it was intentional. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, well, it's kind of kind of predicting the future of militarism, which under the Biden administration we are seeing right now. We are seeing technologically advanced people. We are seeing them send on the boots on the ground troops in Afghanistan have been replaced by these special ops Marines, and have been replaced by targeted drone strikes completely. And they've taken the on the ground soldiers, the infantry, out of the equation and replaced them by technological advances and different kinds of drones, and by only kind of having specialized terrorist hunting Marines and terrorist hunting special ops kind of going into these situations and doing the Tom Cruise thing where they're armored up and kind of being the very specialized technical soldiers that can actually hunt terrorists in their viewpoint. So I think that just Doug Liman's work in general kind of takes that stance rather than going into it with fully kind of a infantry first. And is this movie's honest about the infantry, just kind of being disposable.
But do you feel that carries through to this movie? Because I feel like this movie, whether it's by accident or or on purpose, I
don't think there was a purposeful message in this movie. Is what I'm trying to get at, and I apologize if I didn't quite articulate that well enough. But I don't.
You can subscribe to Forrest Substack to hear more.
Yeah, I don't think just this movie in a vacuum really says that much. Beyond isn't this a cool movie and isn't this well done? And okay, maybe you can make that argument of accidental, promoting the Biden planning, but I don't.
It's not the Biden part is irrelevant. I just think the future of warfare. No. The future of warfare is going to be technologically savvy, and it's going to be far more kind of privatized soldiers of fortune, which is what these characters are by the end of it, not in the beginning of it. He's just kind of.
Well, they're not really privatized either. I mean, they don't quite go as far as what you're saying. You're reading a lot into this because they're still working for the military. Yes, they went off on their own and did their own thing, but
it's conceptually the soldier of fortune idea, the idea that these specialized soldiers are going to be able to come in, and the only way to kind of defeat these existential enemies is going to be someone who's specialized, trained outside of the U.S. military, because that's what they are. And
but they get trained. No,
they're in an international military. It's a
globalized those mercenaries are trained by the U.S. government or are trained by the Colombian government, funded by the U.S. government.
That's not true.
That's absolutely true.
The mercenaries, they're privatizing mercenaries as a concept, and the fact that she's on these bus things or whatever, and they're kind of using her as this kind of avatar of militarism to sell the idea of it in general.
She's
as
a
this
war
kind
hero.
of
it's like the Lenny Riefenstahl thing, right? That part, I don't know about the rest of what y'all are talking about, but that part is pretty transparent, right?
But it's the same thing as if you watch The Boys, like that kind of like the idea of creating these technologically advanced soldiers. I mean, they're trying to sell them to the U.S. military and the boys, but like
which the boys actually has a lot of deeper political machinations
and this movie does too, because he's a PR guy. He's a PR guy. They're talking about advertising. They're talking about the way the military sells,
and they're not really saying anything about society. They're just having this great arc of a character.
And I don't agree with that. Then I think that there is more of a cue about the way that things are sold to you, the way that these it ends up being that these kind of soldiers of fortune, these mercenaries, not in the sense that they're paid to do things, but in the sense that they're trained separately, they're outside of the military itself. Within that context, it's not like the military is training him, and they kind of come in and they're able to defeat like an existential enemy outside of that
military base the entire time. All the training sequences was from
right, but the people, like, it's not like generals are training him. He's kind of training himself outside of it.
I mean, he took himself outside
because seems out of the
it's
norm,
a rugged individual.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Out of the norm that he didn't get any training. Although I do remember him, like in his PR role, him saying something about like, "Oh, we have these suits that we've developed, and now we can have soldiers with minimal training."
And can do maximum damage, and that's the whole thing. It's like the PR is was to set up his character more than it was to say anything about anything.
I don't agree with that. I think that it says everything about where the military is going, where the military is now, and the future of kind of the idea.
But like I said, you're wrong because you're completely in a delusional state by saying that the U.S. military doesn't train the like Blackwater people. They were all former.
No, the military does train the Blackwater people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying
Colombia is also the #1 trainer of mercenaries in the world right now, funded by the U.S. government.
I'm just saying that it's having the future of that kind of soldier being put into a situation like this. It's having the future of that kind of like intelligent soldier of fortune coming in after learning all of those skills and being able to defeat things as a special op. And that's kind of what they're doing right now in Afghanistan itself.
They're not doing it as a privatized force. They are still part of the military.
Which is what they're doing now in Afghanistan.
They went AWOL. That's the point of the film. They went AWOL. This is a rugged individualism story, not a story about mercenaries.
I disagree. I think that it builds to the point where you expect that in the future, the future of this is going to be mercenaries. It's going to be soldiers of fortune outside of the military structure.
You're creating an ending, like we all kind of create endings to movies that are open as this one was, because he gets there. We don't know if Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt hook up or anything like that at the end of the film. We don't know what the future is going to happen. We just know that, it looks like we defeated the aliens. They end it there. And now you're creating your fan fiction here.
No, because I don't think he's being paid by anyone. I'm not creating a fan fiction. I'm just saying it's creating this idea in your mind, this idea. He's a PR guy in general. Like, it's creating this idea of a separate force, a soldier that gets trained outside of this normal chain of command that gets to come in because of his own training, because he was getting in his own way outside of the U.S. military, this special ops training. It's not through a company. It's through the fact that, they have this Angel of Verdun character that's gone through this battle already, and that's been separated from things because she knows the time capsule thing. But it's
but at the end of it, is, like, we haven't had a war hero like this since was it Pat Tillman? Like that's what she is Pat Tillman.
She is not Pat Tillman. Pat Tillman's entire thing is that he was against the military in general by the end of it, and he got killed by the military for that reason.
But he never
has nothing to do with this.
Like he was privately and was going to become public about it. But the thing is, though, was in the military. But when he joined the military, when he quit his NFL job and went into the military, he was used as a poster child. He was basically what Emily Blunt was.
We do that now.
Yeah. Well, we don't have those. Name somebody that's maybe American Sniper, but
we just create these mythologies about certain soldiers that
but
are already
we
famous.
don't know their names though. Is like this like Emily Blunt's character. We you know, like outside of like Pat Tillman and American Sniper, who or in the freaking SEAL Team 6 guys who are trying to make a name for themselves and all claiming that they
You
killed.
just listed like 10 people.
But like they're doing it themselves. They're trying to make the PR themselves, not the U.S.
No, they're
government.
not.
Unlike Pat Tillman.
No, they're not. Fucking Chris Kyle or whatever, the American Sniper guy, got famous after he fucking died.
No,
And
he wrote that freaking book. He was famous.
He
well
wrote a book,
before
but
he
then
died.
the story of his life
He
kind of
got
came
died
from
in-
the
he
fact
died in
that he
America.
got killed.
He
From the
died
fact
in
that he got
America.
killed,
Somebody
we
shot
mythologize.
him at a gun range.
We create mythologies about each of these like each of these soldiers or whatever. We have multiple people that were in battle. Look at fucking Dan Crenshaw as an example.
Yeah,
Dan
but these
Crenshaw was
are
someone who
people
just
who
joined the military and
who
then
joined the
got famous
military.
after the fact because he got into politics. It's a
Yeah, no,
similar
but
thing.
they're making their own. You know, they're not. The U.S. government is not making that story.
Oh, I guarantee you the U.S.
Whereas
government is making that. I'm guarantee you the U.S. government
Well,
and
there's no
other people
evidence to
are
this.
going.
But there is evidence about Colombia and you know where we actually do get our mercenaries from.
Mercenaries come from a lot of fucking places. It's
Colombia,
not just
mostly.
from Colombia. Colombia is a big
Majority.
I'm just saying that these outside forces are trained, and it's getting you ready for the idea that people with these mythologies, people with these stories, are going to come get trained outside of the chain of command.
Yeah. Okay, we're just repeating ourselves. We are just repeating ourselves over and over again here. And we were
just like the movie. You're living, debating, repeating.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get this resolved, but I heartily disagree with you, and that's my closing thoughts, Forrest. No.
Damn, I feel like you're outside the chain of command here.
Yeah. Also, I'm
Soldier,
very uncomfortable.
You're insubordinate. Anyway,
Hicks is now first in command. Corporal Hicks. Isn't that right, Corporal?
Master Sergeant Hicks.
I just think the entire thing is about mythology and the way that we mythologize these stories. I guarantee you he was on fucking CNN the next day talking about how he was outside of the chain of command and defeated these enemies.
Well, let's watch Live, Repeat, Die, Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat and find out if that's true.
Live, Die, Repeat, appear on CNN.
And repeat.
Repeat, of course, is when he shows up on MSNBC. Anyway, my final thought is no matter what we do, how carefully we plan, we can't get off this beach.